Good morning, guys. This is going to be Rogue Mystic Divination with your weekly tarot for Monday, July 14th through the 20th. From what I've seen from other readers, it looks like it's going to be popping off this week, so I don't know. I guess we're going to see what the week brings, and I am, as always, here to bring you hopefully a unique perspective on what's going on. So this is for the collective, and I'm not sure if I'm going to be putting up the per sign ones for this week yet or not, because every time I say I'm going to do something, it ends up not happening for one reason or another, or the videos fail, corrupted. I had that happen at one point, but we'll see. As always, thank you guys for your patience, and here is the general energy for the collective for the next 7 days. I am putting dailies up today, and will continue to do so. They just did not happen for Sunday. It just wasn't going to work, and it looks like everyone may be facing the beginning of the week with a little bit of regret. Like, I wanted to get something done, but it didn't happen, and you're going to be better off not holding on to that regret or that thing that you didn't get finished last week or this weekend. Really, it's especially with the Five of Cups being followed up by the Seven of Cups in reverse at that. This is just something to help you realize, like, okay, did I really need to do that? Do I really need to be upset about not getting that done? And why am I not putting that energy into getting something productive done? Why am I stuck on the stagnant energy? You do have the option to align to something that is an option rather than things that are not an option. With the Seven of Cups, it really feels as though, and this guy, we're not talking about that guy yet, because you know what? Sure, we are. It feels like you're leaving something on the table. That's why you keep looking back. That's why you keep looking back at these options like, well, am I going to regret not taking that option? Was it really an option? Because I don't think it was. I think that there were some issues where it may have looked like an option out of convenience, but then it didn't work out because it wasn't. It was anything but convenient, and you need to remember that. It's likely that someone was trying to make it look as though you had your choice. Like, everybody, because this is for the collective, like, we had a choice on how to handle something or how to deal with something, and I think the reality set in where there wasn't a choice. It's kind of like with, and I'm not going to go too far into like politics and crap like that, but like as an example, whenever you're given two options, right? You don't really have an option. You have the choice that they want you to have. A predictable, regulated, acceptable choice, because then they can kind of determine which side you want to be on. And when the reality of a situation is that the only side that you have is your side. It's not like being black or white. It's not about being purple or green. It's not about being a Republican or Democrat. It's not. One of the main questions that you need to ask yourself is, why did you pick that side, and what concessions were you willing to make? What sacrifices were you willing to make in order to have someone agree with you, to have your back? And by putting yourself in that position, was it really going to be a sacrifice for you? Because a lot of, again, I want to go back to the Seven of Cups in reverse. It's a lot of these options were fantasy. And that's what you're being overwhelmed by. That's what's leading you to this Seven of Swords. It's like, well, I'm leaving something behind because it wasn't for me anyway, and I can't carry the weight of that. That is an idea, that is a lesson that isn't for me to learn, or isn't for me to learn right now. And with the going back to the Five of Cups, because that really does seem like it's the main energy this week for everybody. Is like, do I regret putting myself in that situation? And if so, why? I do believe it's going to be very important for everyone this week to question, why do you feel like that? Regardless of what sign you are, regardless of what element you align yourself to, regardless of what it is that you want to be aligned to, really start asking yourself, why did I want to be aligned to that? And do I really feel like I have been tricked out of something and tricked into an agreement that didn't benefit me and never had any intention to benefit me? And how do I feel about that? Do you feel guilty for it? Or do you feel like you were led astray, you were led down a different path than you wanted to be on because of a lack of choice? It's back to that Democratic Republican kind of choice. You know, is it really a choice whenever they say that there's other options, but whenever it's a majority rules kind of situation, you kind of have to figure out what it is that you're going to get out of the two major choices. It's very, and this doesn't even really have anything to do with politics, I don't think. If it does, it's interpersonal politics between you and the people in your life. And you're starting to see how it is that people are aligning themselves to different aspects of you, different aspects of other people, and what kind of things that they're willing to forgive and let slide. So thank you guys for tuning in, and I hope you keep coming back for the dailies and the weeklies, and I'm trying to get better and more consistent, guys, so thank you for your patience, and I will see you guys later.